Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. One of the big conversation topics coming into this weekend was whether OpTic would be able to stop FaZe's dominant winning streak throughout the minor, the qualifiers, and then Major 1 in Madrid. Turns out, OpTic won't even get the chance. Vancouver surged, fresh off their change with Neptune into the lineup, have defeated FaZe this evening in pretty remarkable fashion. Massive drama elsewhere as well. Thieves versus Ravens got spicy on the timeline. Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. We have plenty to get into today. Starting here, just wanted to say for FaZe, because it's remarkable to look at the number of players in the league that have a winning record against them, and that number is 0, and I believe remains 0 as it presently stands. There are 5 players in the league, or who have been in the league, who do hold a winning record, but it's pretty remarkable how over the years, FaZe have played 124 different players, and 0 active players have a winning streak against them. I think they mentioned in the replies, these are the 5 players with a winning record against FaZe. Scump at 7-6 is the most kind of prominent in terms of the number of series won. Classic being, it was pretty funny, I'd say. Spart, Pharaoh, rest in peace. And then General, which is kind of incredible that, you know, OpTic versus FaZe in Vanguard was so remarkable that even with General, they still beat them. But that, of course, an important topic. I saw this in Fire as well, seemingly implying that it could be the end for him in terms of his, Call of Duty career. What might not be the end for someone, though, is actually Super, because, well, Heretics, they play Rocket tomorrow, and they say this weekend is going to be Super. Now, Ronnie said on the pre-show that we ran today that he understands that Metals is unwell, or I think Metals may be stepping out for tomorrow's series, and therefore Super will be in. So it's likely going to be Super, Raincourt, Lucky, and ReeaL, the team of 4 for tomorrow's series. That's the rumour as it stands, but we'll see, of course, what they confirm. But I think Heretics are definitely hinting at something here. Let's get into this first series of the day, though. Obviously, Scrappy, well, certainly Ghosty, getting ready for Valentine's today. And he played rather well, as did the entire team, in a series which was absolutely emphatic pretty much from start to finish. Now, I mentioned it on the pre-show today. This Ravens team, look, they are considered to be 3rd in many people's power rankings. And I get that. They were 4th at the major. They were 2nd at the minor. They've been competitive against top teams, beating OpTic on LAN, right, and all that type of stuff. But still, when they played Thieves at LAN, it was a bloodbath, and they barely got 110 points or whatever it was across 2 different hardpoint maps. So I just felt like I couldn't be confident in Ravens here having any real chance against the Thieves. And that's what we saw, but not exactly in the way that I expected to see it, really, because Game 1 was notable for this particular scoreboard, right? So firstly, Vivid has a real tough one today, and unfortunately, I'm not that surprised, right? I mean, I know that at the major he had 1 eye, and then once he had 2 eyes again, he played much better. But online, he was poor. So, I wanted to see what happened there. And look, this map is better than it looks. He had 12 assists, 3,300 damage, a fair bit of hill time. Like, he had more damage than Slasher and Tej. But equally, the numbers can always be a bit misleading because, okay, sure, he had lots of assists, his elimination to death ratio was fine, and his damage was better than his teammates, but equally, what does that mean? Are you peppering people up and missing shots? You should be killing them, right? Are they getting away? Are they getting traded? What's happening there? So you can use the stats any which way you like to paint the narrative that you want, and the narrative that some were painting was around Gwinn, because Gwinn this map had 38 kills, but Ravens got slams, and there was lots of talk about his particular approach, certainly by Envoy after the series was over. Then the search and destroy got underway, and Ravens had a couple of chances in this, but honestly it was pretty dominant by the Thieves, especially HyDra with an ace in the final round, a disgusting ace at that, because that's the game mode for HyDra where he's struggled so far. He pops the 3-piece, gets the final kill as well, and frankly this series was over in a blink of an eye. So it's not too surprising to me, really. Like, Thieves, they lost the major in heartbreaking Game 7 Round 11 fashion. They will be probably the team in the game going the hardest. HyDra even took Vivid hostage here in the control, and the commentators, Maven and Merc, are absolutely loving life. I actually do have the video footage of it here as well, which was, entertaining to say the least. I mean, the fact that HyDra's going for this shows to some degree, the respect that Thieves have for Ravens is not especially high, in the same way that, when FaZe played Thieves famously in that series on the Checkmate Control back in Cold War, that was a notable one for similar reasons. So yeah, this is one of the first times I think we've really seen this in the league this year, and a very entertaining moment. And it was not an entertaining map for the Ravens because, yeah, they just got slapped around really. They did make it semi-competitive, but in the end it wasn't even close. And GG's to the Thieves guys, because as Scrappy says, GG's Ravens 3-0. What a grueler, which was pretty funny, because obviously you're saying, oh wow, yeah, that was a real hard challenge, lads. Like, better luck next time. Things got kind of controversial, though, because Ghosty tweeted this out, which was obviously great. The Hobbit, the desolation of TJ. And here's TJ with, you know, who's basically TJ as a plumber in this particular image, with plunger in hand. Now, TJ did not seem especially happy about this, either on the stream or after the fact as well, where, well, TJ then replied with a very nice message here on the Valentine's Day, telling Ghosty to keep himself safe. So I thought that was really rather lovely. And that's what Ghosty says. He's like, yep, I'll continue staying safe. No problems about me. Don't worry about me, TJ. All good. Scrappy thought this is rather funny. So, look, good bit of banter between the teams. But it wasn't all banter, right? Because Envoy came out on stream and said the following. He was quizzed by Nameless, like, hey, you're talking about teams not playing for the win. And to be fair, OpTic have said this. They've made it rather clear about the Ravens. They don't feel like Ravens approach Hardpoint in the right way. OpTic talked about it, but of course, OpTic, it's a bit rich coming from them in some respects because they lost them at the minor and then they lost at the major. So clearly Ravens know what they're doing to some degree. But still, teams have made that point. And teams that beat Ravens, as Thieves do, are also going to make the point. So Envoy it's pretty rare to see Envoy with the fire like this. And I love that he just straight up called out somebody, right? Because usually players are like, oh, well, you know, players are doing this, players are doing that. And they know someone who they mean in their head, but they don't want to say it. Envoy's like, yeah, I don't care. Gwinn went double positive. He didn't, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't double positive, but it was close enough. 38 in 26, I guess, by elimination to death, it was pretty much double positive. But he said, yeah, it was useless. Like, not making good routes, not making good plays, not helping the team win at all. So, pretty dramatic stuff.
People not playing for the win. What are you talking? I've heard a couple of top players say this now. I want to know, I want to hear it from you. What is that coming from? What do you mean by that?
I think it's a lot of things. I mean, a lot of these players, I mean, Gwinn, I think in the first map, I mean, this guy is literally like double pause, just being useless on the map, taking useless routes. I think people don't analyze the gameplay enough. You know, you got Clay tweeting, Ken tweeting the other day about, you know, watching VOD and stuff. I think people actually just don't watch VOD, don't play hardpoint the way it's supposed to be played, and it shows over the years. So I think that's why it stays pretty top heavy, and a lot of these new kids are just inexperienced. So
I believe Envoy, because he doesn't usually talk like that. I believe you. People are not watching VOD.
I hope we weren't lying on Valentine's Day. That'd be kind of crappy.
So what do you guys think about this statement, right? Because there's no doubt that Gwinn has some serious talent. He turned up to LAN and played pretty well, but not as well as he's played online. And there's been some theories as to why. We know that Gwinn can shoot straight, that is no question. But in terms of impact, a player like Gwinn, does he have the same impact as, let's say, a CleanX? I mean, they're not exactly the same player, but in terms of upper echelon SMGs, when you compare Simp, when you compare HyDra, when you compare even Envoy, certainly CleanX, among maybe some others, even, you know, some of the other players on those top teams that I've not even mentioned, does Gwinn fall into the same conversation of those guys? In terms of KD, sure, but in terms of impact, you know, maybe not. And in terms of playstyle, I think there's still some questions. Slasher will know, you know, what he wants out of Gwinn, and I'm sure they'll be talking about it, but Envoy isn't massively impressed as it stands. And obviously, Vivid had a stinker of a series. So, yeah, difficult one for Vivid because I think people are going to... Look, it was against the Thieves, one of the best teams in the game. The gap between Thieves and FaZe and the rest seemed massive at the major. Not so much, it seems, as of the final series of the day. But still, LA Thieves, hot 3-0. There will be questions on the Ravens, the way that Gwinn played, the way that Vivid played, but we'll see how that trends in due course. The next series was Falcons. They had the opportunity to break some records today by extending, well, by actually breaking the records for the most hardpoint losses in a row. And that's exactly what they did. So congratulations to Falcons, breaking records in the league. Boston took them down game one. It honestly wasn't really that close, unfortunately. Wixel came back in his first series and kind of got clapped a little bit. That was unfortunate. It was a good performance in Boston, really. They take the game one. Falcons break the record. It was actually the record of the subliners from Vanguard, right, when they had 13 losses in a row. So, yeah, congrats to Kremp for not holding that streak anymore. Game two, Cammy had a bit of a masterclass here, which was rare because Cammy's Search and Destroy has been pretty woeful, but, you know, took the opportunity against Falcons. It was a great thing, though, to see on map 3, Falcons get the win. They actually reverse swept Boston in the control. So it was great to see the energy from the team, and I was really happy for them at the time. Unfortunately, it only just delayed the inevitable, where they would go to a map 4 hardpoint and lose anyway. To be fair, on the map 4, they had some chances. But I do genuinely think Falcons are improving. Like, they bring the energy. They've got some raw gunning and some talent in there. They're just very inconsistent. You know, Dahoom was winning some big gunfights here. Exnid and King was solid. Wixel, he came in for Roxas. He wasn't great. But still, they got the map win. It's great to see, you know, these guys getting excited because, you know, they're living their dream at the end of the day. And it's wonderful to see when they do win a map. But unfortunately, they're just in a position where they put themselves in maybe winnable positions and then they find a way to lose. And it's not like Boston are a good control team, right? So that's why there were some questions there. In the end, they lost the game 4. Clay, though, said that actually they got a streak that map, but they couldn't use it because there's a glitch. It's a known bug, but yeah, the game has a problem on that one. So yeah, this is not the reason why we lost, but it was an issue. And Falcons have a big series against Thieves coming up, of course, on the Sunday, so it doesn't get much easier for them. Cammy with 108 kills. Monster bounce back series from him in many respects, just because after the major, he was probably the player potentially on the chopping block. Look, it's Falcons. We'll see how time goes. But this was the series that I was not expecting to be talking about in this way, and that was FaZe Surge. So Surge made the change, Neptune in. I liked the move. I think it was the way to go. Did I think it was going to massively move the needle? Not really. I mean, the 04 Abuzah duo was good last year. I think that 04 especially is a player for the future. I think that he really understands the game on a level that not many SMG players do. We know that Abuzah is very talented, albeit sometimes kind of controversial. And Nastie, I really rate as a player. I think he's, you know, been a great player for several years, but a bit inconsistent. Hicksy was just weak in terms of his delivery, so sure, bringing Neptune in made some sense. But this is the FaZe team that looked untouchable on LAN, apart from the Thieves. In game 1, they played a Vault, the map where they went 237, 236 with Toronto. So this being a close map wasn't a massive surprise. You know, FaZe play a Vault harp when it's not one of their absolute best. It's a map they can lose. And they won it game 1, and I thought after this, you know what, probably it's going to be a series closeout for FaZe. That is not how it happened though at all. Surge take the game 2, some good takeover moments in there. They win it in 6-4 in the end. Cellium had a nice clutch at one point, but Abuzah had a great map 2 in the Surge, dropped double digits. And then the control though, this was the game I thought, okay, it's a protocol control, the series is 1-1, it happens. FaZe, this is where they'll take over, right? But no, that's not how it went at all. Neptune especially, and Nastie to be fair, but Neptune and Nastie, they really took over this map, and Neptune was an absolute force. I mean, he was making some bonkers plays. This kill especially, at this point Surge are up 2-0 on FaZe in control. Don't see that very often. How often do you see Simp go double neg in a control? Doesn't happen. At this point it's 10-4 in lives. Neptune, by the way, in this situation, gets Drazah weak. He keeps back and forth over the door and eventually slides in and gets the kill. Like, Neptune is fun to watch on this game, and he was just running around killing everything. It was great to watch, and you know, I think that Surge made the right move. I mean, you can't doubt it now, and really excited to see where they could potentially go. The funny thing is, of course, for Surge, that they came top 12 on LAN. They were 4-3 last stage online, and they were saying we'll get better on LAN because we're playing out of Vancouver. They just beat FaZe online from Vancouver. So, you know, what's going on? Like, are they going to be online merchants? Are they going to go to LAN and deliver? Because they should expect to. Didn't happen, though, of course, in Madrid. But they beat FaZe in the control. And then, honestly, the Protocol hardpoint, both maps that I liked FaZe on, was not very close either. 04 had his kind of trademark stinker, like, you know, I will sing 04's praises. I think he's very talented, and I really like the way that he thinks about the game. But he does have at least the occasional stinker in him. But look, you're playing FaZe. It is going to happen. And it doesn't really matter when your team take over and win regardless. So, incredible results from the Vancouver Surge. And I don't know what it is about that win streak, right? FaZe were on 12 series wins in a row. They were just about to get to 13 and then potentially break their record tomorrow against OpTic to get to 14 and potentially beyond. They looked pretty untouchable not long ago. And now they've lost their first series. So, look, it's online cards. Obviously, Surge were giving it their all with Neptune in the roster, and for very good reason. FaZe did not play particularly well today. And that's all it took for Surge to capitalize. Are FaZe getting complacent? Are they going to fall off? Like I don't really want to jump the gun on anything like that. But still, the results speak for themselves. That Thieves had a 3-0 slammage today, and Surge take down FaZe 3-1. So lots to discuss on that, I'm sure. How often do you see Simp have a 0.83? Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Nastie with a 1.4, by the way. So, shout out Byron Nastie. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.